Well, hello and welcome to another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop. We're out and about again at Bolesworth Castle in rural Cheshire for another Hampson auctions. The auction is on this coming Sunday. And we have, as ever, an eclectic mix of cars. I never quite know what I'm going to see here. And it doesn't have to be a multi-million-pound supercar. It can be something equally interesting and quirky. And this car falls into the interesting and quirky category. This is a 1965 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. Another layer of interest on this car is it was the car from the series Mad Men, and it was driven by Don Draper in the massively popular multi-Emmy award-winning series. This very car, it's straight off the TV screen and into the auction almost. It's amazing. TV production companies have a habit of not holding on to cars, and usually neither do the cast. It's just a thing. It's just another prop. It's criminal. The things over the years that have fallen by the wayside. Things from I know somebody who did have some things from the film 2001, the Stanley Kubrick film. That'd be worth a fortune now. But anyway, I digress. If you're into Americana, I have my moments of yes and no. This car is an eyeful and a handful. It really is. It's big enough. If you're into big cars, this is possibly a contender for you. This falls into the land yacht category that was so beloved of Cadillac and Lincoln during the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then in the 80s, they started to shrink down a bit and look somewhat similar to the size of a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow or something like that. Great car, this. I just love the kitschness of it. If you want a TV star car, and again, it's no reserve. 7-litre V8, what can possibly go wrong? Everything about this car is huge. Yeah, if you want to make an entrance, here it is. Well, another interesting car is the Bentley Continental, the reinvention of Bentley, full stop, in the late 90s and early noughties. I had the pleasure of having visits occasionally at the garage because we are located near to the Bentley factory at Crewe, was the Rolls-Royce and Bentley factory. Dr. Pefkin, Dr. Franz Joseph Pefkin, who reinvented Bentley on behalf of the Volkswagen Group, on behalf of Dr. Piech, and Ulrich Eichhorn, that very talented engineer, the two of them reorchestrated the reinvention of Bentley, and the result of that, it was based on the VW Phaeton super saloon, and the W12 engine, very loosely speaking, was two Golf VR6 engines melded together. The variation on that became a W12, two VR6s. Instead of calling it a WR12, it was just the W12. And then the version that had 3 cylinders per 4 banks. Then the Bugatti Veyron had a W16, which was the same engine effectively with another cylinder on each bank, so 4 times 4 in a W formation. And this was all Dr. Piech's brainchild. He completely reinvented the VW Audi empire in the 1990s. He bought companies left, right and centre, including Bentley. BMW got Rolls-Royce, but the net result was this car, the underpinnings of a VW Phaeton saloon, but with a twin turbocharged W12 6-litre engine. And the thing is, because the car was roughly half the price of the Continental R and the Continental T that were very much hand-built before that, very much hand-built. Because they were half the price, they had to churn them out in huge amounts, which they did. I don't know the production figures, but it was thousands a year, whereas the Continental R and the Continental T were a few a month by comparison. We have here two brilliant examples of the Continental GT. We've got the Exhibit A, the blue one, which has done 50-odd thousand miles from new. When one buys a car like this, you're maintaining a £120,000 car. That has to be borne in mind. You have to understand that some of the maintenance bills and the parts are going to be for a £120,000 car. But if you take shortcuts and if you're judicious and if you're clever, you can actually get parts from other VW, hushed tones of course, other VW Audi products, and What I'm saying is these cars are as cheap as chips to buy now. You can buy a very nice example for £10,000–12,000, a tenth of their new purchase price. But you've got to bear in mind the maintenance bills. But they're a lot of car for the money. They really are. 552 brake horsepower, knocking on for 200 miles an hour, as fast as the 575M, but with a completely different, a normal automatic gearbox, and a completely different driving experience. A lot of car for the money, the Continental GT. They still look very good. The styling has aged very well. For those of a slightly more sporty intent, we have the GT Speed, the Continental GT Speed. It's a little bit of jiggery-pokery in the engine internals, uprated pistons, ported heads, that sort of thing, but most of it is done by the electronics and just upping the boost on the turbos slightly. But this is 602 brake horsepower, and that does comfortably, for those who wish to do so, break the 200 mile an hour barrier. That's up to about 202, 203 miles an hour, which is not bad for a car that you can pay. You'd be hard pushed to buy a new car for the price of these cars now, of any decency, never mind something like this that was a world beater when it came out. As I say, they were immensely popular with good reason. They got so much right about them. They were right from the get-go. A lot of car for the money, and we've got these two examples here at the Hampson auctions for no reserve. How about that? This vehicle has also caught my eye. This is an Austin Champ, which has always been sort of out of reach, or not quite being able to be up close and personal with one. So this is a bit of a tick for me, this particular one. It's a military vehicle right from the outset. It's very heavy duty. Everything on this vehicle is very, very over-engineered, actually. It's got fully independent suspension, which was radical in the mid-1950s. Jeeps and Land Rovers didn't catch up with that until 30 years later, at least. So more like 40, actually. It's a very interesting vehicle. It has the Rolls-Royce B40 engine in it, which is a 4-cylinder engine, just under 3 litres. And the whole thing has been militarised to a very high standard. The whole engine is sealed so it can go wading in water up to quite a deep depth, etc. It really is quite an interesting piece of engineering, this. It was designed to compete with the Willys Jeep or the Land Rover, but it didn't quite cut it. They made 13,000, which sounds a lot, but it isn't actually. They're not that rare, not that common. But the B40 engine is a 4-cylinder engine. They had the B series family Rolls-Royce. They were doing modular engines from a very early time. I mean, these days manufacturers do modular engines a lot. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 variations on different themes of engine. B40, 4-cylinder. The B60 was incorporated in the Rolls-Royce motor cars of the 1950s, generally speaking, apart from a few exceptions, the Phantom 4, which had the B80, the straight 8 version. But the B60 soldiered on for years. Bulletproof engine. It would have to be in this because of what it was designed for. But I just think it's in at no reserve. I just think it's a really interesting thing, maybe to go to the pub with your friends on a Sunday afternoon in. Bit of a curio, the Austin Champ. Well, the more astute amongst you will have noticed that I'm not actually at the Hampson's location at Bolesworth. I'm in the workshop, and so is this car. This is another of the cars that's coming up at the auction. This is an Alfa Romeo GTV Coupe. And these were a brave design in the mid-90s when they came out. But this car is the V6 version. It's the 3-litre V6, 225 brake horsepower, something like that, through the front wheels. which was cutting-edge technology in its own way in the mid-90s, actually feeding that amount of power through the front end without wrenching the steering wheel out your hands with torque steer. This is actually, it's very tidy, this car. It's in really good nick. I don't know what the service history is like, because that doesn't appear to be with the car, but it's guided at £5,000 to £7,000 hammer price, and it's got all these sort of teledial alloys, which were a very good styling point. This car is an absolute gem. It's got the Busso V6 24-valve 3-litre engine. It's actually very tidy. 5 to 7,000? Not too bad. In the category of try and find another, we have this. This is a 1964 Mini Super Deluxe, if you please, with all sorts of creature comforts like extra chrome brackets on the bumpers, a nicer grille, slightly smarter wheel caps, all sorts of things like that. It's got the starter button in between the seats that the early Minis had, and it's finished in almond green. And everything, this car is immaculate, and it's unrestored original condition. That is almost impossible to find a 1964 Mini in such amazingly original, unrestored, unspoilt condition. For the purist and the collector, this car is just something very special. I love it. In fact, I'm going to take it for a little run. What an absolute cutie. This is not no reserve. It's estimated at £12,000 to £14,000 hammer price. So you've got 15%, up to 15% on top of that. But original interior, it's just gorgeous. I love this. An original, immaculate, unrestored Mini. Beautiful. Well, I couldn't resist the opportunity to drive this. This is a Mini from 1964, and it's an Austin Mini 850. And my first car was a Morris Mini 850 from 1963 in the same colour, almond green, and it was in nowhere near this condition. This is absolutely lovely. It's got the little wand gear change on the floor, and it's got the starter button, but this just drives beautifully. The engine is as quiet as a mouse. I can't get over this. It's just a delight. The gearbox is sweet. This car is just gorgeous. It's estimated at, I think, 12 to 14,000. It's obviously extremely original. These early Minis are really coming of age now. This is the time for them. Yeah, lovely little car. What a cutie. I just had to have a go at driving this. Very nice. It seems to have minimal brakes, but I'm sure that can be fixed fairly easily. Just try the brakes again. Absolutely nothing. Good job we've got a working handbrake, but I mean, the parts for these will be very cheap. It's drum brakes all round, so I suspect a brake overhaul will probably cost a couple of £100 in parts, but this is just, it's lovely. It would be even better if it had brakes, but yeah, just a very sweet car. Beautiful oil pressure, very original. I remember this headlining. It all just comes flooding back, even though it was 40 odd years ago. My dad bought it for me for £50 because he knew I was interested in cars. An almond green Mini 850, and that was what set me off on the trajectory. I wanted to be a car designer, and that set me off on the trajectory of working on them instead of sketching them. So yeah, very nice. Well, again, I never know what to expect when I turn up here, and this exemplifies that. This is a serious bit of kit. This is a Toyota Alphard. The Japanese car manufacturers come up with the most bizarre names for their vehicles. You've got the Toyota Quantum, which have sort of taken over South Africa. Everywhere you look in South Africa, there is a Toyota Quantum as a taxi, a cream Toyota Quantum. They're just everywhere. I hadn't heard of one until I started going to South Africa. And this is another one. I wonder how many people have actually heard of a Toyota Alphard. But exist it does. And this is a year old. It's only done 2,000 kilometres. It has all sorts of whizzy technology in it. Predictive cameras, you name it. It's got a petrol hybrid powertrain, which collectively produces 420 brake horsepower. So this thing is going to move as well when needed. It's an executive lounge on wheels. That's what Toyota sold it was. And this was over £100,000 new. Now, I can't get my head around this because Lexus was Toyota's luxury brand, and yet this vehicle is a Toyota, and the Toyota Century was the top of the range, so go figure. The V12 car, why are some Toyotas and some Lexuses, but gorgeous it is. It's virtually brand new. Yeah, for the person who wants to be conveyed around extremely conspicuously, I guess this is the car. There's room for 4 people in captain's chairs in the back, beautiful reclining chairs. The grille probably takes the prize even from BMW as the biggest, most gross grille you have ever seen. But this astonishingly is, I think, no reserve. An amazing vehicle, this. Yeah, if you haven't got a Toyota Alphard in your life, now is the time to try. I couldn't walk past this. I make no apologies for the fact that this is quirky in the extreme. This is a Nissan S-Cargo. Now, it's spelt S-Cargo, C-A-R-G-O. But of course, escargot in French, E-S-C-A-R-G-O-T, is snail. Hence the play on words. This is a snail van. Nissan went a bit wacky around the turn of the century. They came out with a replica of a Jaguar Mark II based on the Nissan Figaro, or Nissan Micra rather. And then they came out with the Nissan Figaro, which was a sort of retro car. I think they only came in 4 colours, purple, blue, green and something else, black or white or whatever, but very few colours. And the Figaro is now quite a sort of cheeky little left field car transport for fashion designers and people, aesthetes the world over love Nissan Figaros. And for the person who has everything, you really must take advantage of this unique opportunity to buy this unspeakably elegant piece of machinery. It's Japanese, so in theory it should go on forever. This is also, if you do feel like burning rubber in it, it's also got it's got a later turbocharged engine installed instead of the original engine, the 1.5. I think it's probably a Micra turbocharged engine, or out of a Figaro, or go figure, I don't know. The Nissan S-Cargo, lovely play on words. I quite like it, actually. I suppose we could do worse than buy it into the business and put a sign on it as our customer support vehicle or our customer loan car. If you bring that could be an excellent advert, actually. If you bring your Ferrari or Lamborghini or Aston Martin into Tyrrell's Classic Workshop, you get to drive this for the weekend or however long. What can possibly go wrong? And as if by magic, I've just discovered they actually have a very late entry Nissan Figaro. So here it is in the green colour. And they still look ever so cute, but I couldn't possibly have the S-Cargo without this one as well. We haven't got the Jaguar Mark II replica, but 2 out of 3 isn't bad. Well, from one of the world's most bizarre executive lounges, and if you don't believe that expression, it's written on the back. I say thank you for watching this auction review. Please remember to subscribe, and we'll be back with something else very soon.